Right now, in this exact moment, you are not seeing reality. Your eyes are open. The image looks sharp. Everything feels real. But neuroscience has proven something that should disturb you deeply. Your brain is actively deleting almost half of what exists in front of you every single second and replacing it with a simulation it invented, not a metaphor, not philosophy, a measurable, documented, neurological fact. And here's the part that should stop you cold. The decisions you made today, the people you trusted, the world you believe you understand, none of it was based on what's actually there. It was based on a story your brain fabricated to fill the gaps. You have never, not once in your entire life, seen reality as it truly is. So what have you been seeing?
There's a concept in neuroscience called perceptual blindness, and it doesn't mean you can't see. It means your brain has decided that certain parts of reality aren't worth your attention, so it quietly erases them and writes something else in their place. Scientists discovered this through a series of experiments so unsettling that some researchers refused to publish their findings at first, because the implications weren't just scientific. They were philosophical, existential. They touched the deepest question a human being can ask. What is actually real? Here's what they found. Your eyes send your brain roughly 10 million bits of information every second, but your conscious mind can only process about 50 bits of that.
So your brain, acting as your editor, your censor, your silent dictator, decides what you see and what you don't. It fills the rest in with prediction, with pattern, with comfortable fiction. And the terrifying thing, you never feel the edit. You never feel the deletion. You never feel the fabrication. It all feels seamless, complete, real. What you're about to learn will change the way you look at every single thing, including the people in your life, the choices you make, and the version of yourself you believe you are. Stay with me, because reality is about to get a lot stranger. You have a hole in your vision, a literal, anatomical hole, and it's been there your entire life.
Right now, as you watch this, there is a region in each of your eyes where the optic nerve connects to the retina. No photoreceptors live there. Nothing detects light in that zone. It is a pure, physical void in your visual field. And yet, you've never once seen a black hole floating in front of you. Why? Because your brain invents what should be there. It samples the surrounding visual information, makes a calculated guess, and seamlessly fills the gap. It's so convincing you can live an entire lifetime without noticing it exists. This is called completion, Euro, and it's not an anomaly. It's how your entire perceptual system works. Your brain isn't a camera, it's a storyteller. And like any good storyteller, it doesn't always tell you the truth. It tells you something better, something coherent, something familiar, something that fits the narrative you already believe about the world. Scientists call this predictive processing. Your brain is constantly generating a CEF, model of reality, and only updating it when something breaks the prediction badly enough to demand attention. The rest filled in automatically, invisibly. But here's the question that should be keeping you awake tonight. If your brain fills in gaps, this seamlessly, how do you know where the real ends and the invented begins? In 1999, 2 psychologists at Harvard University asked volunteers to watch a short video. 6 people passed a basketball between them, 3 in white shirts, 3 in black. The volunteers were asked to count how many times the players in white shirts passed the ball. Halfway through the video, someone in a full gorilla costume walked directly into the frame, beat their chest, and walked off. Over 50% of participants never saw it. Not because they were distracted, not because they weren't smart, because their brain had a task count the passes, and it ruthlessly suppressed everything outside that goal. The gorilla existed. It was visible. It was there. Their brain decided it wasn't relevant and deleted it from conscious awareness. This isn't just a party trick about attention. This is a window into how your mind operates at every moment of every day. Your brain has been trained by your experiences, your fears, your beliefs.
Your desires to look for certain things and to ignore the rest, which means the world you see is not neutral. It's not objective. It is a deeply personally curated feed, selected, filtered, and edited by a brain that learned what matters to you years ago and has been running that same program ever since. The gorilla was always there. What gorillas are you walking past in your own life right now? Here's something even more unsettling. What you're experiencing right now, this present moment, is already the past. Your visual system takes approximately 80 to 120 milliseconds to process the light, entering your eyes and turn it into a conscious image. But your full conscious experience of a scene and the moment you feel like you'd seen something takes up to asterisk 500 milliseconds. That's half a second. That means everything you are consciously experiencing right now happened half a second ago. You are not living in the present. You are living in a memory, a reconstructed, processed, slightly delayed simulation of a moment that has already passed. And your brain knows this delay exists. So it compensates in the most audacious way possible. It predicts the future. Your visual cortex doesn't wait for reality to arrive. It asterisk guesses where moving objects will be, fills in the prediction, and presents you with a seamless, uninterrupted experience of a world that your eyes technically haven't processed yet. This is why you can catch a ball. This is why a driver can react before consciously realizing there's danger. Your brain is running a half-second simulation of the future constantly, without your permission, without your awareness. You don't live in reality. You live in your brain's best guess about reality, slightly ahead of what's actually there. And when the guess is wrong, when your brain's prediction fails catastrophically, something interesting happens. You freeze, not out of fear exactly, though that follows. You freeze because your perceptual system suddenly has no frame. The model has broken down, and your conscious mind goes momentarily offline, while the brain scrambles to rebuild the simulation. Scientists who study trauma have observed this in survivors of accidents and disasters. The most common description isn't panic. It's a strange, detached stillness, a feeling that the world went unreal for a moment. Some describe it as watching themselves from outside their own body. That's not metaphor. That's your simulation crashing. And here's why this matters, beyond neuroscience. Every belief you hold, every assumption you carry, is part of that simulation. Your brain constructed a model of the world based on your history, your childhood, your wounds, your wins, your losses, and it has been filtering reality through that model ever since. This means two people can stand in the same room, looking at the same scene, and see two completely different worlds. Not because one of them is lying, because their simulations are different. Your certainty about what is real is not evidence that you're right. It's evidence that your simulation is stable. Those are not the same thing. So the terrifying question isn't, what am I missing? The terrifying question is, what has my brain decided I should never see? Here is where this stops being frightening and starts being extraordinary. Because if your brain constructs reality, if it edits, fills in, predicts, and curates your experience of the world, then it is not a fixed, immutable thing. It is a living process, and living processes can change. Neuroscientists have now documented what they call neuroplasticity, asterisk the brain's ability to physically rewire itself based on new experiences. But more than that, they've discovered that asterisk attention itself reshapes perception asterisk. What you deliberately choose to pay attention to over time literally alters the structure of the circuits that process reality. Meditation practitioners who train attention show measurable differences in their visual cortex. People who learn to question their assumptions, who deliberately look for the gorillas they've been trained to ignore, develop richer, more accurate perceptual models over time. This is the most important thing neuroscience has quietly discovered in the last 20 years. You are not a passive receiver of reality. You are its co-author. Every moment you choose to question what you think you see. Every time you pause before a judgment and ask, is this what's actually there? Or is this what my brain expected to find? You are doing something profound. You are reaching past the simulation and touching something closer to true. Not perfect, not complete, but closer. Because the goal isn't to see everything. The goal is to know the simulation is running Euro and choose consciously what you let it delete. So here is the truth. You have never seen the world as it actually is. You have seen a crafted, curated, beautifully constructed model of it, built from your history, shaped by your fears, filtered by your expectations. It is sophisticated beyond anything we can engineer. It keeps you alive, it keeps you functional, it keeps you sane, but it is not reality. And there is something oddly liberating about that, because if the world you've been experiencing was never fully real, if it was always partly invented, then the story your capo has been telling yourself about who you are, what you're capable of, and what you deserve, that story is also partly invented. And invented things can be rewritten. The next time you feel absolutely certain about what you see in a person, in a situation, in yourself, pause. Ask the question your brain never wants you to ask. What am I not seeing right now? What has been deleted from this frame? Because the most dangerous thing isn't what exists in the dark. It's the part of reality your brain decided you didn't need to know about. The gorilla is always in the room. The only question is whether you're finally ready to look. Pause. Slow music fade. If this changed the way you see things even slightly, consider what else you might be missing. The next video might answer that.